Hello, this is Dash Extra, and yes, this is the penultimate game of the Premier League season, which means there's only 2 more game weeks for you, yes you, Curly, sitting at home with your popcorn, for you to win the Premier League prediction series on this channel. And right now, the one sitting top of the leaderboard is Indo with 87 points, 4 clear of second, which is Killian O'Connor, by the way. Then Dominic Tyler, who just had a generational weekend where he got 5 scorelines right. 5? How? These are real late surge to the title. Then Bashir Prisman in 5th, followed by Kolija, Sponge Guy Bradankia, Darko Minisevsky, all the regulars. Then Connor Penfold in 9th, who's taken a real tumble over the last couple of weeks. He's, you must have, I don't know, done the Stevie G slip speech in your bathroom mirror. This does not slip. No, it has. You've taken a real fall, Connor. What's going on there? And then we got SJBDKOSWQ. There. I've read your whole name. Why couldn't it be an illegible word? It's just a bunch of letters. I wouldn't know even how to pronounce that. Sounds like some sort of toad language. And then we got, Fitzy Kid, Nick, Vandy, the Star Wars guy, and then the rest who are probably not going to win the league. But that's the title race, lads. Get your predictions in the format you know how. And let's see, is Indo going to be dethroned, or is he the one who's going to reign supreme? Anyway, let's get into my predictions then. Okay, so we got tonight Aston Villa versus Liverpool, and this could have been a really epic, memorable late season clash. Like when Spurs rocked up to the Etihad and beat Man City in May 2010 in a straight, what felt like a cup final for the top 4. We could have had that this season if this was a battle for 4th, when 4th meant something. But look, this could have been something huge. Villa versus Liverpool. We could have a Liverpool fan sweating about turning up to Villa Park and possibly losing out on the top 4 and Champions League football. This could be the game which gets Arne Slot fired. But no, instead, it's just boring. Both teams are nestled in the top 5 and both are going to get Champions League. And even if Villa, the unthinkable happened, if Villa go and tumble into 6th, like I said, all they have to do is beat Freiburg and they're back in there for next season. So this feels really annoying. This kind of takes the fun out of the top 4 race. A bit like if there was a top 5 that got into the Champions League back in 2010, that late Peter Crouch winner at Man City away wouldn't mean anything. Because they're both going through. But anyway, as for this game, because the spice and the fun has been taken out of it, I think it's going to be a waste of time. I think both teams are going to play for a draw just to keep themselves wedged in that top, 0-0. Just a boring 0-0 match. A really ugly, sluggy, turgid affair. Unai Emery has said that he doesn't have one eye on the Europa League final. He does. Every single time he gets to the Europa League final, which is a lot, by the way, his teams always trail off in the month or 2 leading up to the match. Just ask Arsenal fans. 0-0. 0-0. And I think Liverpool will be unlucky not to win. Right, next up we got Man United versus Nottingham Forest. And look, there's a goodwill factor at Old Trafford these days, right? I know they had a blip when lost at home to Leeds a couple of weeks ago, but no, I mean, there's a reason Michael Carrick is unthinkably getting the permanent gig. And I say unthinkable because a few months ago it was, right? He was always the babysitter for a few months as they plotted to get in a real super coach in the summer. Yeah, that's not going to happen now. Carrick has done so well. He's literally, just like with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he has talked himself into the job. Fair play. I was against Man United giving Ole a permanent contract back in 2019 because they'd gone from Jose Mourinho to him overnight, which is such a downgrade. And I always knew he was just a babysitter who was just getting good results because some of the limp weasels were just refreshed again because they didn't have Mourinho telling them off for snacking on cheeseburgers at half time. I don't feel that way for Carrick. I think he deserves a crack. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. And I think he gets another win. I think Forest are on the beach. Their season is over after an extremely... Can you imagine how stressful this season has been for Nottingham Forest? They've gone through 4 managers, have been in an embarrassing relegation battle for most of the season, and trying to juggle winning the Europa League. It's just been such an emotionally exhausting season. Like, how can you be in the mindset of trying to nick draws on the weekend when you're losing most of your Premier League matches, but then on Thursday nights, you're in beast mode, and you're trying to switch the mentality to be on the front foot to try and actively win a competition rather than just survive in it. So I think these Forest players are burnt out. And honestly, lads, it's been a horrible season. It's paid off with Morgan Gibbs White making damn sure no one's ever going to confuse him with Solanke ever again, but did it have to be this way? Couldn't he have just got himself a new haircut, dye his hair blonde or something, instead of having his face stitched up like a baseball? Poor guy. Poor Morgan. But look, I think Man United win this game. Forest are on the beach. Forest, they're in sleep mode. So I'm going to go with a big Man United win. I'm going to go 3-0. I'm going to go Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, and Šeško. And if Forest dare to win, I will smear 10 bananas in my head. In my face. Yeah, in my face. All right, next up we got Brentford versus Crystal Palace. Brentford win. Yeah, I know Brentford have kind of tailed off lately over the last couple of months. I think Keith Andrews has been a bit distracted by all the fuss that's suddenly been laid at his feet. Like, he's up for Manager of the Year. I don't think he should win. I'm gonna say something which is more unnatural than getting jiggy with this teddy bear, but I think the Manager of the Year award should go to Regis Labrie. I said Sunderland will get relegated on 9 points. He's got 48. Does he? Or 40? I don't know, but he's got like 3 points less than Brentford do. And yes, Andrews took over at Brentford who just sold Wiesa and Mbemo, sure. But it was still the core of a settled Premier League squad. He didn't lose everyone. Sunderland have had to build an entire new team overnight. And yeah, I think Labrie should get the Manager of the Award. So look, I think Brentford are tailing off slightly, but I think they're due a win. I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go Thiago and Damsgaard and 1 for Palace via Larson. 2-1 Brentford. All right, next up we get Everton versus Sunderland. Yeah, I've just said Labrie should win Manager of the Year. And yeah, I've seen the Black Cats beat Newcastle twice home and away. So this has been a fun little season for me, right? When it comes to Sunderland, not really. No, and don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I have to go to Sunderland and do an apology video. That's coming at the end of the season. Great, goody gumdrops. But yeah, look, I'm gonna go the draw. I'm gonna go the draw. I think Everton have been flattened a little bit in the last couple of weeks. I think ever since the Merseyside derby defeat, their hunt for Europe is kind of petering out a little bit. And finally, I'm hearing whispers that the club might be questioning whether or not to move on from David Moyes, which I think would be a progressive thing to do. Come on, I know he's done a very good job since coming back there, but this is Everton, a massive football club. You can attract big managers. You don't have to just continue with the guy you hired in 2002. So yeah, I think you're going to tail off a little bit this season. Well, continue to tail off. 1-1. I'm going to go Brian Brobby opener for Sunderland and Barry equaliser. I was going to say Bello, but I'm going to go Barry off the bench. Equaliser. Yeah. But Sunderland won't win, though. Nah, if they do, then I will sing Happy Birthday to Strangers. All right, next up, we got Leeds versus Brighton, the Jorginho Ruder derby, I guess. Look, I think Leeds have been fantastic this season. Brighton, though, I've had a great turnaround over the last few months. Ever since Fabian Hersler looked like he was marching towards the exit door through some dodgy Christmas results. No, they've absolutely turned it around. But Leeds have been unbelievable. I mean, I think Leeds United and Daniel Farke, the single greatest turnaround I've ever seen from a manager in any Premier League season ever. Honestly, lads, like, it's incredible. For someone who helped Norwich finish bottom of the league twice, who clearly didn't have a clue how to keep the Canaries in the league, for him to have lost so many games for Leeds around November time, for him to have turned it around and to only lose 4 out of the next 23 games or so, as well as juggle bringing them to an FA Cup semi-final, it's incredible. And I don't think any other manager has ever had this much of a dramatic turnaround ever before. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I know Eddie Howe had a good turnout at Newcastle, but he was allowed to bring in the likes of Bruno Guimaraes and Kieran Trippier, players who were clearly too good to be in the bottom half of the league. But Leeds, who was their marquee signing? Calvert-Lewin? Like, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. So yeah, I think you're going to follow. I think this Leeds team are high on confidence, and you're going to polish off this season. I'm going to go with a 3-0 win. I'm going to go Stack, Aronson, and Longstaff off the bench. Unbelievable season. All right, next up, we've got Wolves versus Fulham. Boring. One thing I can promise you is that there's not going to be many goals in this game at all. No. And if there's more than 5 goals in this match, then I will offer strangers toast from my pocket and ask them if I can live with them. Yeah, weird, but yeah. 1-0 at most. 1-0 Fulham. 1-0 Fulham. Anderson. No, he's Did he get sent off last week? Did he? Yeah, I think he didn't. He wasn't he the guy who got sent off Fulham? Yeah, Calvin Bassey. 1-0 Fulham, Calvin Bassey. All right, next up, Arsenal versus Burnley. The big one. Look, I have maintained all season long that I don't think Arsenal will win the league. The only reason that would not happen is if they drop points against Burnley at home and the Crystal Palace B team, who've got a European final 3 days later. Like, maybe it is time for me to wrap my head around the fact that maybe, just maybe, I am wrong. And look, I might well be. I might well be, because this seems like a very easy task for Arsenal. To just beat Burnley and Palace and you win the league. It's very straightforward, right? And look, I know in a video a couple of days ago I did say that I thought Martin Dubravka might have something to say about this title race, but no, I'm not so much of a potato brain moron to think Arsenal won't easily beat Burnley on Monday night. But then again, because it is a Monday night one, because the whole world will be watching, I think it could be a nervous one. You know what? I'm going to go 1-0. I'm going to go a tense 1-0 own goal. Own goal 1-0. One of those ones. This isn't going to be the game where Arsenal just play with ease and play with freedom and win 4 or 5-0. No. I know Burnley are absolute dog food, but I think there's going to be restlessness and nervousness in the Emirates. 1-0. And if there's more than 4 goals, then I'll stand in public emptying 2 boxes of Cocoa Pops over my head while squealing like a pig. But yeah, 1-0 Arsenal. All right, next up, we got Bournemouth versus Man City on the Tuesday night. And again, the world will be watching. Oh, what do I do here? I tip both these clubs to win every week. So part of me wants to say a draw. But if it is a draw, then Bournemouth have just won Arsenal in the league. Pretty much. City win. Just. This will just be days after the FA Cup final, which, by the way, City will win. But then again, this is a fixture. This is a really congested fixture list. A real fixture list pile-up. And so if Man City do manage to win the league, despite playing 5 games in 9 days or something crazy like that, it would be an unbelievable achievement. 1-0 Semenyo against his former club. 1-0. But I'm not putting any... I mean, this could... Bournemouth could really do this. They could really win the league for Arsenal. But no, I'm going to go 1-0 Semenyo. All right, next up, finally, Chelsea versus Spurs, a 8:15 midnight game in May. Oh, doesn't this just smack of the Battle of the Bridge that won Leicester City the league? I mean, it's funny, actually. It's funny. That was that hothead of a match where there was 20 yellow cards. That game won Leicester City the title. So inadvertently, this could also happen on a night where the league title is awarded to the team who didn't play that night on a night where Chelsea played Spurs. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine if Bournemouth... Who's Bournemouth's hazard? If Alex Scott pops up with a last gasp equaliser on the same... I mean, maybe this is a sign that Chelsea are playing Spurs on the same night that someone for Bournemouth could win Arsenal the league and be, to them, what Hazard was to Leicester. Maybe. But yeah, the Chelsea-Spurs game is pretty much irrelevant for Chelsea, but for Spurs, they need a result, but they don't win at Stamford Bridge. You know what? Spurs have been on a good run of form for their standards. For their standards under the Derby, I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for Spurs. They're going to have to want it more. Come on. Chelsea have nothing to play for. And not really. Conference League, maybe squeaking into the Europa League, but Spurs have to want this more. They have to. De Zerbi has to send those players out, fired out there, to go and get the valuable 3 points. And you know what? Yeah, I think Spurs stay up. I'm going to go... Wait, did West Ham play? Oh, good job I checked. I completely missed the West Ham match, which, of course, is against Newcastle. All right. Okay, for the Chelsea-Spurs game, I'm going to go 1-0 Spurs. Conor Gallagher with a late winner. Absolute scenes when he celebrates. Former Chelsea captain celebrating a winning goal to Stamford Bridge for Spurs. Wow, that would look crazy. But yeah, 1-0 Spurs. As for Newcastle-West Ham, okay, yeah, this is going to be the game which pretty much relegates West Ham. I know. The West Ham players should be fired up and they should want this more than Newcastle players. But then again, the Newcastle players are playing for pride. Because it's been a terrible end of the season. I think, anyhow, now there's a bit of... A bit of news around him staying at the club, which I'm happy about, by the way. I think it's going to give the players a bit of a lift, and they're all going to want to play for him, and end the season, polish the season off well. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Newcastle win. I'm going to go Burn and Asula and Mateus Fernandes for West Ham. But yeah, I think this could be the game, which pretty much relegates West Ham. So yeah, if this does happen, oh, by the way, if West Ham win, then I'll sit in a car park and cry for 30 seconds. Yeah. Let me look at the table then. So what I'm saying then, if Spurs win, it'll put them on to 41 points. Oh, wow. And West Ham will be stuck on 36. Oh, yeah, this is the game that relegates West Ham. Right? Yeah. Yeah, this is the game. If Spurs win at Chelsea, it's over. It is game over. Okay, wow, yeah. Spurs will stay up with a game to go. Sorry, West Ham. I guess you pretty much get relegated at Newcastle. Whoops. But yeah, those are my predictions. Get your predictions in the comment section below. We'll see who amongst you are going to be the ones to stop Indo's reign of terror. Let me know in the comments. Get your predictions in. But anyway, that's it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to raise. I'll waffle you in a while.